Okay, hi travelers. I've got my little camera set up on my tripod here, and I'm going to pre-record this little intro so that I can put it in front of every video. So unfortunately, as you go back to look at your moon and rising signs, you'll be hearing this again, but it's okay. So I told you that for January there were going to be there's a new deck of cards and a new way that I'm going to be attempting to read the cards. The cards are the Fin de Siècle, okay, known as the Kippers, and it's not a new deck. Lots of people use them, okay. Supposedly they're like the Lenormands, only I find them to be completely different from the Lenormands, and just in my experience with them, and they, for me, are more like the La Vida Sibila cards. I've also discovered that there are a few things missing from the cards in terms of situations that could happen. There's cards that are missing that could refer or relate to some of those situations. And as we go further into the year and I continue to do more readings with them, you'll understand what I mean, because I'll talk to you about it. And so I, read the little book that came with it. Okay. And that's all well and good. Some of the stuff I didn't understand or I did not agree with. And so, you know me, I created my own little book, the Fin de Siècle. Now, before I talk to you about what I did with the book, I am quite sure there's going to be somebody out there who's going to come up underneath the video and be like, well, that's not how the cards are read, or that's not what the cards say, or that's not what the meanings are. And that's fine and good. I have a process of bonding with my cards, of imprinting with my cards, and I wrote about that in a little short article over on Substack about tarot hygiene. And so in imprinting with the cards, they were really talking to me a lot. And so I was able to go back in and write my own little book and add some extra interpretations into it in terms of how the cards spoke to me in combinations with other cards. And so that's what's contained in the book. All right. Now, the way the cards are going to be, here's the deck. Okay. And so they're almost like I find them completely different from the Lenormands, especially the French Lenormands, even the Dorndorf, the German Lenormands. They're completely different. I think these cards are a little bit more plain spoken. So in that regard, they behave a lot like the La Vida Sibila. I've been doing some practice pulls. I haven't necessarily had to use the Sibilas for clarification, but I may have to. That's not the fault of the cards. That would be me, the reader, not understanding what the cards are saying to me. So I will be using, perhaps, if need be, the La Vida Sibila for a bit of clarification. These are going to be shorter readings this year. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe a 10 card spread, anywhere from 6 cards to 10 card spread in a pyramid shape with 3 additional cards off to the side. Those 3 cards additional off to the side will be dealt first face down, and then the rest of the cards will be dealt face up. So the 3 cards to the side that are face down will be things that may come into play. Okay. Again, as with all readings that I do here on YouTube, these readings are free, therefore they are general. And in order to gain any insight into your own specific situation requires a personal reading. And the way that I do personal readings, how you book with me, you contact me by email, and I get your birth date and your sun sign and just your questions. I don't want to know the story. I don't need to know the story about what's going on with you. I just want to know what the questions are, and then I read for you. I do live Zoom readings for 60 minutes. Everything else is recorded, which you upload it to YouTube so that you can go in and view them, download it, save it, delete it, whatever you want to do. I don't need the reading anymore. It's yours to do whatever you want to do with it. And so I always like to give that its general because I'm going to be reading for so many different people of sun, moon, and rising signs. So again, if you recognize a story, then you can always just book with me. You can go over to the About box section of my channel, and there you can find my reading packages. And I left one off, the 20-minute reading, so it's up there now in the About box section. Once you pick your package, you simply email me, and then we go from there, okay? I have payment links, everything. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to explain to you the cards, how I came about some of these interpretations. And before I finish, I want to give a shout out to Bella Dutch, who talked to me about these cards. She said she loves them, and now I understand why. So thanks, Bella. I appreciate that. I've been looking at them for a while, but just they didn't seem interesting to me, and I had bought so many decks that didn't speak, but this deck does a lot of talking. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this down, and then we're going to get started with the readings. So I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general reading for January 2023. I hope that everyone had a fantastic Christmas and New Year's and all of that stuff, that everybody was safe and healthy and happy, and everybody ate good and got what they wanted for Christmas and all of that stuff. So you have seen the intro to this, and so you're not going to see my face in this particular reading, because I want you, since this is a new deck of cards, to focus on the cards. And remember, I explained to you in the intro that there are going to be 3 cards that we put to the side at first. Those are going to be the surprise cards, or what may come into play as you move through the month of January. And then there will be a 10-card pyramid spread. Okay, so I've already done some meditation and shuffling on the Cancer sign and glyph. I'm going to put another quick rifle on these. Okay. Now there are 39 cards in this deck. The Lenormand only have 36, so there are 3 extra cards. Personally, myself, I like these cards a lot, but I think they have too many cards on money. There are 3 cards that speak to money and finance, and 2 cards on business. But they don't have any cards for violence or domestic violence or violent people or anything like that. So I explained to you that I did my own imprinting, and I came up with some additional interpretations, and so I wrote it all down in my book. And so I might be referring to the book, because this is actually the first time I'm doing a spread for anybody. I've been pulling the cards myself to see if what they told me during imprinting rang true when I saw the cards together, and yes, it does ring true for me. So here we go. We're going to cut the deck, and we're going to put our first 3 cards to the side. So we're going to try to put them over there. Okay. And then all the other cards are going to be dealt face up. So here we go. First card. Oh wow, the Thief. I don't know why that looks so weird, but there he is, right off the bat. The Child. That's interesting. The Mature Woman. Oh, there's 3 things happening there. Next row, the House. Great Fortune. That card's been coming out a lot for everybody. Judication. And the last row down here, Journey. Poverty. Wow. Message. And Official Person. Well, first time he's made an appearance today. So let me slide these up a little bit more. Hopefully we can get them all in the frame. I think I may just have to put it back on the computer so that you can get everything. It's just acting so, I don't even know. Hold on, y'all have to see my face because I have to put it on my face for it to autofocus. Hi. Let's see. That didn't get it. Hold on, let's try it one more time. One more time. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to try to slide this back. There. You can pretty much see all of the cards. But I will show them to you as I talk about the cards. Let me maybe if I move them over a little bit, you can get them all into the frame. So interestingly, we have a significator card. And what we have here is a mature woman. There she is. The mature woman could be you. And this is going to apply whether you are female or you identify with the female role. Okay, so we have the mature woman. So as I said, that could be you, but it could also be like your mom or your aunt or an older sister or an older friend, someone of this nature. She is going to be small in stature, okay, kind of short, and also maybe a bit naive, so to speak. But I think there has been a thief that has come into her midst. Okay. Now, the thief is an interesting card, and let me show it to you. Because there, what we see is this well-dressed man there in the center, that flamboyantly dressed woman who looking kind of sketchy. The cards take place in the Victorian era, so you would think that she would be a lady of the evening, a working girl, because of the way she's dressed. Respectable Victorian women didn't dress that way. And then you've got the little street urchin right there, stealing the guy's, pulling his watch out of his pocket. But let's face it, sometimes thieves come well dressed, do they not? Class, culture. Y'all ever see that TV show, that movie, the Tender Swindler? Mm-hmm. Okay. So thieves come well dressed too. Okay. Now, the thief can be I think this is a theft. I really do. I think someone is come in and is trying to swindle her or has swindled her. What we see is a house and a great fortune. So what this tells me is that the house, let me show it to you, okay, is not necessarily this grand mansion, but it could be any kind of building in terms residence. So it's real estate, property, land holdings, apartments, condos, houses, winter houses, vacation homes, those kinds of a thing, okay? And the fact that, to me, with great fortune comes out, says that it's a house in which this woman, it's everything she's ever wanted. It's her dream home. It's where she has all of the things that she loves and she's comfortable there. But then we see the card of adjudication coming in. Now, this can be a neutral to negative card. There is a bit of mitigation of anything negative happening being next to the great fortune card, because this is the luckiest card in the deck. It is Fortuna, and there is a time frame with this, which is the time frame of summer. Now, because you've seen Fortuna in the La Vida Sibila cards, usually when you see Fortuna, she's holding a cornucopia and there are all kind of vegetables and fruits falling out. So it could also be the time frame of the fall, but this is in the center. Okay, it's everything else is happening around this. Adjudication comes in to talk about government with a small g. This is going to be any clerk or bureaucrat or zoning official, advisory board. So this could be like your home association, you know what I'm saying? But the idea is that you have to go to this person to talk about something or discuss something, and he's going to tell you how the process goes. So the card also represents the idea of arbitration and negotiations. In personal relationships, it speaks about clarifying conversations, debates, and discussions that need to be had, okay? I would say if it were this way, that I would say would be nothing. This card doesn't tell you how the outcome's going to go. It just simply says that there's either somebody who's a third person with some type of authority, okay, Completely different from this person. Okay, when I say small g government, this guy represents big G government. Okay, all right. So this could be, you know, talking to an attorney, a tax accountant, a bookkeeper, anything. But the person's going to explain to you how the process goes. And then we come to the final row. And the final row is journey. Starts with journey. Now the journey card indicates all types of transportation, modes of transportation. Everything except boats. There's a different card for that. Okay. So this is planes, trains, automobiles, bicycles, you know, mopeds, all forms of communication. The card also speaks about the idea of either arrivals or departures. So maybe someone is leaving to go someplace, or maybe you've got to go to the airport or something and pick somebody up. But in a more mundane level, the journey card says that it's time for you to get a move on. There's something you need to do. Okay? With the poverty card, this is the one, or, you know, or taking a journey towards poverty. It could be literally that. So the poverty card has come out. Now, the image of this card, back in the Victorian days, kids worked for pittance. First of all, it shouldn't have even been damn working, but it was during the Industrial Revolution. So kids worked in coal mines. They did all kinds of jobs. But they weren't paid well. They didn't eat well. A lot of times they were homeless. They banded together. So this card indicates working for a living, but not making enough money to take care of your basic needs. It has another meaning too. It's not coming to me at the moment. I'm going to double check it with my book. But then we see the message. Like the letter in the La Vida Sibila cards, this card doesn't tell me what the message is about. Okay? It simply says that either a message has been sent or a message will be received. And in one sense, I think that a message will be received or has already been read or will be read. But also because it's the outgoing energy, it's also a message that will be going to this official person. If it were this way, I would say that the message is coming from the official person sent the message. But this is sending a message to this official person. So this card represents emails, telephone calls, faxes, things in the post, maybe something that you hear inadvertently, some news that you saw on TV or you heard it on the radio or you read it in the newspaper. So it's all forms of communications. But again, it doesn't tell me what the message is about. And finally, we come to the official person card. Again, as I was saying, completely different from small g bureaucrat. You know, the person at the DMV who, when you go, you got to fill out the paperwork. That's the small g government, right? It's not the head of the DPS or Department of Motor Vehicles that you're dealing with, right? But even he would fall. Well, never mind. I'm getting off thing. So the official person typically will represent a military man or someone, a police officer or a fireman who wears a uniform. But let's face it, not all people of authority wear uniforms. I dated a guy once who worked in an office. He had to wear a suit and tie every day. He said to him that was like a uniform. So people who come with authority can also wear suits. But it's not necessarily simply the clothes that the person wears that gives him the authority. It is his innate kind of personality or air around them. Maybe standoffish and gruff, not easy to get along with, but we'll kind of give it to you straight, okay? Now, I am trying to determine, because I don't really see what the situation is necessarily about. The child card can also, remember I said the person may be diminutive in stature, maybe a short person, can also be a rather naive individual, but sometimes the child card can also be an indication of something new, the start of something, the beginning of something. So I'm not sure if what the cards are telling me is that maybe this mature woman is actually the thief and she done stole something from somebody. It could be that as well. Okay? Remember, thieves come well dressed and they come in different sexes. Okay? So let's keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do, because I'm a little bit puzzled by this poverty card. And there's something else about these two cards together that I can't quite bring up. So I'm going to take a look at it. Let's see. He's number 22. The official person. This is what it is. Whatever this message is about, the determination comes from here. But this card is the intensifier. It's not another person. It's saying that whatever this letter is that comes, this information, this news, it is official news. Okay? It's official news. That's what that's telling me. Now, let me go back to the poverty card, because that's a strange card. It's one of the 3 additional cards that this deck has. That's why I say it's like Lenormand. It's not. I don't find it like Lenormand at all. I think it's much more clear who's who and what's what. Whereas in the Lenormand cards, there's a fox, there's a bear. You have to try to figure out, what what that really means. Whether the cross can mean this or can mean that. The cards pretty much kind of tell you. But unlike these Sibilas, there's a lot of cards missing. And I think that the 3 cards of money are kind of a waste, particularly with the 3 additional cards. But that's just my gripe. But I do like the cards. So I'm going back to the poverty. Number 37. Here it is. The card predicts deprivation in the material and emotional realms. It can refer to grinding monetary circumstances or large monetary losses. But metaphorically, the card represents a lack of control. I think either if this woman has swindled you or someone in your family, okay, then you don't have any control over it. In fact, this is the guy that's going to tell you how it's going to go, okay? And once he gets through doing that, it's going to be official, okay? But it also refers to a bad position or being down on your luck. But as I say, it is not just poverty in the physical realm, but can refer again to emotional and mental poverty. I don't get the mental poverty thing. To me, this feels like an actual physical, it could be a property issue. Okay? This guy could be the tax appraiser. Maybe somebody didn't pay their taxes. Maybe she was counting on someone to do her taxes and they didn't do it. It is the thief card that I think is the key to all of this. Let me go back. I mean, the thief is just that. He does have a mundane message, but the card can say when it shows up that you are being warned. But it can also imply not just a literal theft, but the idea of missing out on something. That doesn't come across to me. I don't, unless I look at this journey in poverty like somebody doesn't get a chance to go on a trip. But that just doesn't make a lot of sense. It could be a possibility. You get the news that you ain't wanted, you ain't invited. But that doesn't explain this guy. He's a bureaucrat. Okay? So to me, this is literally a financial and a property situation. And whatever that news is, it is official. So it says that if the thief card falls below or far away, then it says that your losses are irrevocable. But it's up here at the top. Okay? So that means there is a possibility. There's a large something at stake. Even if you don't have a whole lot of money, but your home is the only thing that you own, that's the only equity you own, even if it's a rinky-dink old house, nothing fancy, or it's a condo, nothing super fancy, that's your wealth, that's your equity. And so that could be the great fortune, okay? And so, as I say, this card doesn't tell me, nor does this card, doesn't tell me the outcome of this. Will it be positive or negative? It's simply saying to me that something is going to happen and you're going to have to go talk to somebody about it. And whatever the outcome, the trip that you take towards poverty, whatever the outcome, it's going to be official. All right. As well as this card, is an intensifier. As I was just saying, it could be the start of something new. So the Thief card is actually, kind of interesting. Sometimes it could stand for something that has been removed or taken away, separated or distant or absent. You have that Journey card there. Metaphorically, the card can be a descriptor implying few or fewer. Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? But another metaphorical term is that it can imply dishonesty of thought or approach rather than an act that is just physical. I think this is something physical. I think it's an actual act. I don't think it's anything metaphorical. It's not describing few or fewer. It's saying that there's a theft that's been perpetrated here or will be coming up. So let's take a look at what the surprise cards say. The Pathway. I don't like the way that looks. It looks so weird. The Pathway. Okay, there's that card. The next card was, wow, the Family Room. And the Privileged Lady. Well, now here's something interesting. She's just showed up. If this is a same-sex relationship, the Privileged Lady is the mate to the mature woman. Okay? Remember, the thief is not just a man. It could be this woman. Okay? But also, she could be a sister, a niece, a nephew, a daughter. What it implies is someone who, has a little bit higher standard of living, perhaps. It refers to the gentle way of life. So she likes luxuries and, she's pretty. She may be vain. Okay, she didn't come out with the false person card. So she's not somebody that's kind of ditzy and stuck on herself. So with these three cards, now there's a difference. As you see, we have a card called the House. This represents actual physical buildings, condos, apartments, real estate, property. This indicates a room within one of those buildings, right? So it could be the living room, the family room, the bedroom, the bathroom. It could even be an office. It indicates any kind of room in which there are closed doors. Therefore, it also has a connotation of privacy and intimacy. It could even be a hotel room, okay? Here with the Pathway, well, the Pathway talks about, just that, paths, trails, walkways, being out in nature, that kind of thing. I found that the actual interpretation that came with the book was kind of lacking in a sense, because to me, pathway can sometimes be an indication of choice, right? And that's not one of the meanings here in the actual deck. So it talks about overcoming distance, both temporally and spatially. It talks about light being at the end of the tunnel. But this card is in front of a significator. See her over here? And so it says that a long time ago, or at least 2 years ago. Okay? The family room indicates things that are close within you, or close around you. Okay, hold on one second. Number 21. And let me kind of give it to you. It represents rooms inside. So offices, doors. It can mean that other things are close in the room with you, or that if it is close, it says it's going to come to pass very, very soon. Okay? And so I would think, as a timing card here, that whatever this situation is, okay, it's going to come to pass very, very soon. Now, who the privileged lady is, because the sentence makes absolutely no sense to me. And there is no combination card of her with these three cards, with these other two cards. And so it could be a choice about, or something happening soon in a room in privacy, you know, or it could be about, it's not necessarily about your possessions, but it kind of has that feeling like it could be about your possessions, how you viewed yourself a while ago. There's a timing on this card, and since it's in the front, the timing is, hold on, what did I just say it was? Number 35, hold on. The card timing is 1 to 2 years. Okay? It doesn't really speak about a long time ago. So 1 to 2 years ago, maybe, you know, this sentence just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. But that's our timing. We also have a timing card in the center, the summer. You know? But I think this refers to something in the past. Is what I think. Even though I'm saying that this is going to be playing out throughout the month of January, that may come into play. Okay. To me, the directionality is important. This could be someone coming in to speak with you who can offer you a way out or a choice to help you decide to make a choice. Okay. Might be a daughter or a relative. Okay. And so if this is not a same-sex relationship, then that's what it would be. Oh, hang on one second. That's my neighbor. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, Cancer, sorry about that. My furnace just went on the fritz. It is making horrible noises and it smells like leaking gas. And we have a freeze coming for the next 4 days. So I texted my neighbor to ask her if she had an additional space heater. It's starting to get cold in my office here. And usually this is the hottest room in the house. But anyway, what was I saying about the... that she could be, this privileged lady could be, you know, a friend, a niece who may, and I was saying directionality for me is important in this particular card. So this could be an indication of someone coming in later on to help, you know, you to make a choice. Because sometimes this card can be literally things in the room. It says that whatever it's going to happen, it's going to happen, come to pass very, very soon. And so I want to go ahead and have you formulate a question for the Golden Nostradamus cards. Okay. I've tried using other oracle cards with this particular deck. So far I have not found a match. I think they work pretty well with any deck. Really, I was able to even use the Sibilas for clarification with them when I was doing testing them out. So all right, here's your card. Let's see what it says. Well, it is the cherries. See that? The cherries is interesting because the cherries say, what number is it? Number 21. He who believes everything with ease will often be seen reddened and teased. Perhaps you were too trusting and not worldly enough. Look carefully within or to those around you to separate the illusions from the truths that you need. Well, I would say in some instance there will be a truth, and sometimes it's not the message of concern card here, which can sometimes speak to inconvenient truths, but you know, it's not good news. Let's put it that way. And it's official. But again, having this fortune, great fortune card in the center says that, you know, it may not be as bad as you think. But I think it's going to be pretty tough. Okay. So that's what I have for you, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for January 2023. I hope this message helps. And until next time, be well, stay safe. Namaste. Bye.